Hi friend, it's Pat Sloan here for my daily video. This is September 23rd and the topic for today is leftovers. That actually sounds like a topic I should have in November, right? Like right after Thanksgiving Day. I should have this topic again, leftovers. But no, today leftovers are your blocks that you have that you did not fit into the quilt. Maybe you made extras, maybe one was turned out like the colors weren't quite right, so you didn't put it in the quilt, but you still kept it. Maybe a lot of you like to do a test block, so a block you may have tried. Me, sometimes I just do a block for, you know, a sew along or something of somebody else's. I'll just do one block. I don't always make a project. So let me show you my bin. I can't lift it up because that's too hard on my wrists, and my wrists are achy today. They're achy, so I have to be careful. So here is my bin. This is like those regular Sterilite shoebox size, right? Shoebox. I don't know who put shoes in these actually, but this is what they're called, the shoebox size. So this is full. It is over full. So I have things like an extra half square triangle or extra block, an extra heart. Now this was one that I did for a button club way back when I first started doing button club stuff, and I didn't put my buttons on it. I just sort of put them on top for the photo to audition it. Here's my flag block that I did in Morrison Park. So I thought, well, I'm going to put that in the leftover box. These are also often called orphan blocks. You know, they don't have a home, which is sad, right? So we don't really want to be that sad. So it makes people sad, so we're not going to call it that. Here's one that I did with a little umbrella. I was just messing around with the block. So here's an extra splendid sampler block, one of the bonus blocks that I don't think I'm going to put in the quilt. But I'll put it in my leftovers. This was definitely a test block. I love the block and the fabrics, but for the quilt, it was not the right thing. So I had to do something different. So this whole thing is filled, you know, so it might just be, here's another one, a little 4 half square triangles with the little budgies. Is that what you call them? Those little birds, those budgies? They're so cute. I think my friend Jane sent me that. Here is an extra hexie block. So yeah, that's what's all in here. Lots and lots of these things. A quarter square, well, one of these was some unit I was working on. Here is okay, I'll show you this big one. So I have sort of warm colors and then sort of clear colors. So this is probably at least 2 orphan or leftover block quilts. So I did this great big. These were done with English paper piecing. And I thought, this is so awesome. I was going to do like a whole quilt of these. And I did one. And I was like, you know, I don't really want to do a whole quilt of these. Although I like it. That isn't how I wanted to spend my time. So there are my box. Now, what I want to do with these is I would like this to put them into colorways, like color groupings, so that they'll look good together. It'll probably be like maybe, you know, 2 or 3 quilts worth of in here, and then put them up on the design wall, the groupings, and play with them and see how I can make strips or sew units together and then sew those to other units and just make something. It's very much like my birthday quilt. So the birthday quilt was blocks sent to me, but I'll link you below so you can go see what I did with those. This would be the same type of thing that I would put together. I hope that later this year I can work on that. And I say later this year, and it's you know, it is the middle of September. It's like, how much later in the year can it be? This bin is so full, the lid, look, the lid does not shut anymore. So I keep it, I'm going to show you back here. So there is my credenza back there. This was a unit that the koala people had. They're not making these anymore, but those doors shut, and I've got in the center, well, you can't see it, but I don't even think I can't tip this far enough over, but right at the corner of the Barbie there in the middle, where you see the brown basket is, just to the side of that, like right here where my finger is, there's open shelving, and these shoe boxes fit in that open shelving. So that's where that goes. All right. Speaking of Barbie, I have like a crazy thing going on in here. I decided last night that I do want to send my Dear Jane off and just go send it to the spa. And if I'm going to send Dear Jane to the spa, then I'm just want to get the Barbie done to send to the spa. And that's only just a couple of borders, but I don't have wall room. So here, I'm going to take you a swing around my space. So Barbie is pinned to my red and white crush. And then if you come all the way over to the other side of my room, there's my computer corner, and there's Morrison Park stacked up whoops. And then here is my Dear Jane with the alphabet. And the alphabet is just my hand-drawn letters to fit that space. So that's what those are. So I have everything pinned up on top of everything else. And today is the last day of going on a picnic. Are you excited? So I have the block. There are all the other blocks. So let's come down here. Here is the last block, and it's called Waterworks because every picnic, I think, has to have a water feature. And the water feature might be that you might have a pool where you have their picnic, or there might be a lake, when that, pretty lake. There might be a stream or a creek, or do you say crick? Are you a crick or a creek person? Greg is more of a crick person. I grew up in the same, well, my parents grew up in the same area as him, and we are a creek people, so I don't know how that happened. Maybe you have a picnic near the ocean, or maybe all you get in the summer for your picnic is a sprinkler. Sprinklers are the best, right? Everybody runs through the sprinkler. I just remember having so much fun with sprinklers. That was the extent of our, well, as a little kid, I lived right a couple blocks from the ocean in New Jersey. So we would walk from our apartment down to the ocean in the summer. We didn't live there but a couple of years, but I remember that was just so much fun to go to the beach. Okay, so here's our block, and I will show you. Let's do the back side first so that I don't forget. This is Anne's beautiful piecing, and she does lightly starch her fabric. A few people ask me if she starched her fabric, and she does. Not heavily, it's just very lightly starched. So here we go. If you want to do close up, there you are. All of you people who like to see this seams. Anne will probably have a heart attack, me sharing her block all these 12 weeks like this. But she does beautiful work. Okay, so and of course they're all pressed to the dark. So let's take a look at alternate fabrics. And if you want to make this dark, I just sort of, fold it over the piece, and then here is the same sort of basket weave, so you can see what it would look like with a dark point and a inner side with the basket weave. And then you could pick a different background, or you could just leave this one, because this is a white background with the coral, and the coral pops are in this blue. So if you can't see that, and the blues are coral pops. Then I thought this was also a really snazzy print, sort of the bigger plaid, and that would be very cool in there. So I still have this great vision of just taking one of these blocks and then taking the whole fabric line and just, remaking the blocks. And that's kind of what the kits are that are going to come out from Morrison Park. They're a repeat block, and then, well, one is, and then you, we'll just use the fabric in different positions, and there'll be red in one place through all of them, which is pretty cool. So that'll be coming up once the fabric gets delivered and kits get cut. So let's put this up here. I'm going to lift. Here we go. So I have to unhook this so I don't drag the whole camera on the floor. That would not make me very happy, nor Mr. Greg. Okay, so here we go. So this is the placement, color placement. Now I do have all the sashing between, except for, of course, this one. And then I put some sample inner borders of the blue. But I want to show you, let me see if I can get you to come in just a little closer and up, because I want to talk about color placement and how this one was balanced or is balanced. So yeah, I'm trying to look on the little monitor. Okay, so I have, this has got peach, 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 peach. Do you see that? So they alternate. This has aqua, 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 aqua. Now that one doesn't have aqua. It has navy. This has navy in it. This has navy in it. There's navy up there. There's navy down here. So I think that's 5 blocks. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And so 5 is a great, odd numbers are really appealing to us. So 3, 5, 7 when you're working. So that's how the color placements went on this to get them very balanced. I may just go ahead and put the border on like this, or I may do a little inner border and then a navy and then this one. But I think I'm just going to put it on there and call it done because I like it. It's nice and simple, sew along, and I don't want to get too crazy. You know, then you just add time, and is it worth it? I have to always think, is it worth it? Is that how I want to spend my time? So even though I might think, oh, maybe I'd like to do that with that border, make it a double border, I'm just thinking, no, 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 just put the border on there, get it quilted, and then be happy. So next week I will have that quilted. I won't have it quilted, I'm sorry. I will have it the top piece. I'll get the borders on it and have the top piece, and then after that I will send, everything has to be sent away right now because they're too bulky. Just putting the binding on is a chore to move it through the machine, so no quilting for me right now. So that is how they all look. I think they're quite fabulous. I love this fabric line, and because I have extras and the one saying the fabric with the sayings, where, oh, it's over there, you know, that the sayings that came with this, the panel. One of our friends in the Quilt Along with Pat Sloan group at Facebook did a star around the panel, and I thought, that would be perfect. So I might take and at least do the one Morrison that I like, that, you know, the beautiful one, and make it a star and use the fabric. And then the backing for my quilt, I'm going to take the rest of the fabrics from the line that I'm not going to be using, and I'm going to sew them up and do a patchwork backing on it just to use it up. I think, you know, that takes more time, but it does use up pieces that you're thinking, I don't know when I'm really going to use this again, because I've already gotten the fun out of using it. So, and you know, if I've only got 1 fat quarter of a big floral, you know, what am I really going to do with that? It's because the work that I do, it's better for me to patch, you know, to sew it all together. So that is my plan. That is my plan. All right. So I have to give you a real quick. I did some quilt inventory. Greg and I worked together. He built me a form that I can enter in that will let me document my quilts, and then it'll dump all that information into a spreadsheet. So it's an interface that I can use. So I got all the information I think I want to keep, and he knows a lot about what we do, of course, because he's been in the business over 20 years. And then he set it up for me. And then the other night I went out to my quilt gallery. If you have been following me last year in 2019, or even way before that, you know, I groused about how I never did a gallery, a proper gallery of my quilts. And so I started one in 2019, and then I didn't really finish it out, and then I did nothing in 2020. But last night I went and listed everything, and even put some of the quilts in with the links, but I listed everything I could think of so I can start plugging those in, because those are also going to be the first ones that I document. Because as I'm documenting, I'm deciding, you know, do I keep these, or will these be ones that I go for donation? You know, because I can't keep all of the quilts. I probably have over 700 quilts now. So it's a lot. It's too much for one little house to hold. So I will link you down below to the quilt gallery if you wanted to take a peek at it. I will be constantly updating it, and particularly as I start getting the quilts and documenting them, I'm actually, well, I'm not going to tell you yet. You just have to keep watching my videos, because I will tell you what I'm going to do, but not today. Okay, I can't wait to see your going on a picnic blocks. Finish your Waterworks block today. You have a beautiful star that you can round out the quilt with. And then also on the page is all the Cozy Things info. So if you haven't sort of geared up to do that in a few weeks, so we'll do that as our next Wednesday block of the month, block of the week, Block Wednesday. Mwah. I love you, and I will see you online.